lots on that tract with a single shared driveway access. That driveway location has been presented to DOT and preliminary approval has been received pending the outcome of this board meeting. So you can apply for a real driveway permit.
What's the distances from the drive of that new driveway from the ones to the north and the south?
I would say about 225.
Yeah, 250, 225.
Was that close?
That was 150 frontage on the first parcel,
Yeah.
and you got cemetery and probably a drive right next to it.
That's right.
Probably 200, 225.
Thereabouts. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Beulah Heights? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Angela Lee. This is my fiance, Vinny Pavone. We live at 11250 Old Beulah Road. We purchased that property, and as soon as we closed and day of move-in, that property went for sale. We were told that it was not going to be sold to a subdivision. We were told that they would only be allowed to be put 2 houses there, and then we get contact from y'all stating it's being purchased and made a subdivision and 3 lots are being put there.
We contacted our realtor the day we moved in, the day we were unpacking the truck and when they put the for sale sign on the lot. So we thought they were gonna sell the whole lot at one. And then until we contacted our realtor, and our realtor said that, no, it's only for, if they do sell, the condition was only 2 houses to go there.
Okay.
And from my understanding, the gentleman who lives across the street from us, it was his brother's property that was sold.
Okay. Do you have any? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, my question,
okay.
I mean, I guess my question here is, how much of an easement is there between our property line and that first
I'm not seeing an actual easement on the plans.
Okay,
Have you seen a copy of the?
just what they've sent us in the mail, which
Sent in
is, which is what you're showing up there.
Right. That's the same thing we're looking at.
Yes,
I
sir.
know.
Yeah, we did cut that last week. It's in the last week came in the mail.
You can follow the cursor on the screen. The driveway is essentially in this area.
Yes, sir.
What they're talking about is an easement that parallels the street here, so it gives one driveway access for all 3 lots.
Yes, sir.
That's the only easement.
See, our driveway
So,
goes right where that P is, right
yeah,
at the
yeah,
cemetery.
that's what he was saying.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
so your driveway's here, it's about 250-foot separation between the proposed driveway and your driveway.
I guess my question is, on the left of the property line of the first lot, is there there's no easement there?
No,
No, ma'am.
no, there's nothing.
Is that a standard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Your line and their line, I mean, it's just a,
it's just right there.
It's
Your
just like-
part, okay,
Yeah, because the way our
you
house
put a
is,
string
never
from
had
one,
happened before.
we
so.
have the in-law suite that's right there in the garage, and then there's only maybe 50 feet, if that much, between the edge of the driveway to the property line.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
not much.
Is there a way to know more information about these houses, the properties that are going up, the relative, I guess, build value and that type of thing? There's
That-
no way to know.
That's not part of our decision-making process from a subdivision standpoint. I mean, if that's something you want to ask the applicant, you know, you can ask him that later if there's any specific plans for that.
Okay.
So what is this whole thing about?
Is there a way to get them to agree for like a fence or something to go up on that property line? How does this work?
We do not have any regulations in our ordinance for fencing or buffering between like uses. Since it's residential and residential, there's not a requirement in our ordinance for that. Again, that's something you can talk to them about if it's something they're willing to consider.
Okay,
It would be a residential use,
right,
because that's the zoning that it's for.
yes, sir.
But, as far as size and type of house and materials of construction, that's not part of our decision-making
So
process.
what is it, if you don't mind me asking, what is it about?
So this is just to inform us that this is what's happening in the property next to us.
Well, it's what we decide is, does the subdivision meet the codes and ordinances of the county, the land development manual? You can find all that online, and the zoning codes and that sort of thing. So, that's what they're here to ask us is, and for us to review, is does it meet the codes and ordinances? And if it meets the codes and ordinances, then we approve it. There's not a whole lot we can do from that standpoint. They are asking for a waiver relative to driveway locations. We do have a requirement for driveway spacing. They are asking for a waiver from that requirement, so that's something this board is certainly going to consider when, voting on the approval. So-
Okay,
So what do you mean by a waiver for a driveway? What does that mean?
So we have a 500-foot driveway separation in our ordinance from new subdivisions from an existing house, for example, to limit driveways on heavily traveled roads, right? You don't want so many access points. That's just one of the many ordinances that we have relative to subdivisions and, residential subdivision development. And that one, they cannot meet that standard, so they're asking for a waiver for that. It is fairly common for us to grant a waiver for that. I won't prejudice the decision of this board, but we do, particularly in rural locations, and when, if we find that a subdivision cannot be built with an internal street network, like you would typically think for a subdivision, an entrance road and houses on either side.
Right.
If a certain parcel or property cannot be subdivided and then developed in that manner, we will grant that waiver at times.
I understand, okay. All right, so that sent to us is just the town's way of just letting us know that, hey, this is happening.
Yes, ma'am. It's letting you know that they're coming before the board with a request to make this subdivision. Not that it's happening. Again, we still have to vote on it, but
It's a notice that it's being considered. And
right.
The property is about to change, could be changing.
could be changed, yes.
And to give you the opportunity to come here and speak as you're speaking today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have this. This
I mean,
might,
our purpose of moving that far out was to get away from
Sure.
the subdivisions, the chaos. I intend to put horses on my property like that. If I could have purchased that property myself, I would have, but,
You're more than welcome to this. And while we can't tell you anything or know anything about the structures that are going on there, it tells you who's the owner is, and I would suggest looking them up.
thank you. All right, thank you very much.
thank you all very
You're
much. We
welcome.
appreciate it. Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Beulah Heights? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendation was denial due to the direct driveway access on the old Beulah Road and then the less than 500 feet of driveway separation with the lot to the north.
Kirk, I think, Kirk, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind. Just help me better understand the hardship relative to developing the subdivision with an internal street network on this parcel.
We couldn't get an internal street network to meet the minimum DOT standards for length and number of houses for them to take it over to be a public right-of-way.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I make a motion we approve.
Okay. Motion approved by Mr. Sasser,
I second.
second by Mr. Lovering. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
All right. We'll do a show of hands just to make sure we're clear for the record. Motion in support of approval? Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Subdivision is approved. Next, we'll move on to the rezoning portion of tonight's meeting. Case 2317.
Yes, sir. This is a straight down zoning. It's a petition to rezone 15.6 acres of 144.95 acre tract located at 3444 Plainview Church Road in Pleasant Grove Township from agricultural residential to agricultural residential conditional zoning to agricultural residential. Owner is Little Black Creek Farm LLC, applicant's Pult Home Company, served by West Johnston Fire and 5210 Rescue. It's zoned agricultural residential special use district and was approved for an outdoor recreational or paintball course. Surrounding land use is all zoned AR and used for those purposes. Traffic count for this portion of Plainview Church is 1,000 vehicles per day, and that was 2020, and it does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. It's located within a secondary growth area on the comprehensive land use plan. 11 notices were sent out.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. I'll remind everyone as it relates to conditional zoning cases that we serve as an advisory board to the Board of County Commissioners. All of these zoning cases will be heard at their
But I think it's Labor Day, that first Monday, I believe.
So it would be the Tuesday then, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure. I just thought of that when I read the first of September.
September 5th.
at their September 5th board meeting. So if you're here as it relates to any of the rezoning cases this evening, put that date on your calendar. That will be heard by the Board of County Commissioners then. Who would like to be heard on behalf of case 2317?
Good evening, board members. My name's Jeremy Keeney. I'm with Morrison Ritchie Associates. We're the engineers and representatives of the applicant. Our address is 530 Hinton Pond Road, Suite 104 in Knightdale. Just wanted to get up and, a little bit of context. As they said, this is a conditional rezoning that was previously passed for a use that never came to be. And so we're just trying to remove those conditions to go back to the base zoning that was before, back to agricultural residential, so that we can move forward with a residential usage.
Any questions of the gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to case 2317? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations approval.
Thank you, sir. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Motion approved by Mr. Hudson, second by Mr. Crenshaw. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Will go to the board as a recommendation for approval. All right, the next two cases are rezoning cases, not conditional zoning cases. For those, we do not provide a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners.
Here, special use.
Sorry, yeah, special use, thank you. We simply serve as a public forum for the public to be able to ask questions and this board to be able to ask questions to the applicants. Any testimony or information and questions that are discussed tonight are not material that is reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners. So again, if you are here related to any of the next two cases, I'll remind you to mark September 5th on your calendar and be present at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. So the first one before us tonight is case 585 Mod 3.
Yes, sir. This is a petition to modify the approved community business special use district located at 5874 NC Highway 50 North in Elevation Township by adding salon as an approved use. Owner is ERB Properties, applicants Jessica Johnston. Modification request is to change the existing special use to allow for a salon served by Elevation Fire and EVS Rescue. It's zoned community business special use district and is approved for sporting goods sales, bait and tackle shop, as well as florist and plant sales. Surrounding land use zoned AR and used for agricultural residential purposes, zoned I1. conditional zoning and occupied by Kim Station, Zone GB, and is apparently vacant. Traffic concerns for this portion of Highway 50, the count is 5,500 vehicles per day. That is in 2021. It appears as on the comprehensive transportation plan as an existing major thoroughfare with adequate design capacity. This is in a secondary growth area. There were 6 notices sent out. This was originally approved in 2002 as an approval as a florist and bedding plants sales. Came back in 2007 and modified to allow for a bait and tackle shop. And then in 2009, the second modification was for also sporting goods, firearm sales, safety classes, archery range, and boat sales to be added.
And so-
I've talked with the applicant. If this is approved, they would want to change it to where all those go away and all that would be allowed would be the salon.
Okay. Answered my question, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of case 585, mod 3?
Hi, I'm Jessica Johnston, 270 Grace Road, Benson, North Carolina. I'm just looking at renting the building and creating a salon there. And of course, like he said, it was for sporting goods, what they rented it for before. So that's what I'm looking to do.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Good. Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to case 585, mod 3? Okay. With that, we'll close that public hearing and move on to case 23-16.
This is petitioner rezone 45.4 acres located at 600 block of Two Claude Road in the Pleasant Grove Township from agricultural residential to agricultural residential special use district, or it's to a special use district.
No special use permit.
Right, I'm sorry. Owner is N.D. Sauls Jr. Applicant is Selco Partnership with Verizon Wireless. Special use request is cell tower with related equipment. 5210 Fire and Rescue are the utilities and services. It's currently zoned AR and used for agricultural purposes. Surrounding is also the same. Traffic concerns for Two Claude Road is 1,100 vehicles per day. The count is in 2016. Does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. It is in a primary growth area. And the county's technical consultant has reviewed this request. There were 26 notices sent out. And I did give the chairman, I gave you the updated balloon test that was different from the packet, but it was the one that, the most previous one.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? All right, who'd like to be heard on behalf of case 2316?
Good evening, Tom Johnston. I'm an attorney with Williams Mullen at 301 Fayetteville Street, Suite 1700 in Raleigh. Here on behalf of the applicant. This is an application for a special use permit for a tower on a location on a large tract of land, tuck it in some woods. Adjoining that, you have the photo simulations that we did based upon the balloon test information and the balloon test results as well. So it's pretty well hidden, and again, on a large tract of land, it's a 199-foot tower with 195 feet with a 4-foot lightning rod. It will not have to be lighted because of its height, and it'll be a single monopole tower. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the site. And I have Scott Smith here who helped find the site, and then Mr. Sauls, who's the property owner, is here as well tonight.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to case 2316? Yes, sir. Give us your name and address, please.
William Blair, 672 Claude Road,
Yes, sir.
right across the street. After what you just said, how much is that going to be visible from my house? I live right across the street from it.
How about address the board and we'll
I'm
just
sorry.
let us know your questions and we'll make sure we get them answered from that.
I live right across the street from it,
Okay, what's your address if you don't?
670 2 Claude Road.
2 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how much of it is visible from your house?
That's my question, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
That's it.
You got it. Let's see what we can do.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to this? We'll get all the questions first and then we'll go back to the applicant. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a few questions. questions.
No problem. Give us your name and address.
Like a big business that's,
Hang on. Give us your name and address, please.
Teresa
Thank you.
Wolf, 400 Two Claude Road.
Okay.
Is it going to be like a big business where there'll be a lot of vehicles?
No, it looks like it's going to be a single monopole tower.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and how about the access to it? Do you know where they're planning on putting that?
Let's see if we got a map of that one.
I'm looking.
Showing it on the screen there.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Translate that onto a map, the access is gonna come in somewhere along here.
All right, thank you. Okay.
And there's 3 lines up here.
All right, so, and do you think that in the future, they might, say 5, 10 years down the road, decide to put any office buildings or anything to make it more traffic?
The rezoning application is just for the cell tower, and let me make sure I'm looking at the right one, and any associated just mechanical space. It does not allow for a business
Okay.
of any sort.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Okay. Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to 2316? Okay, so I think we just had one question about visibility from 672 Claude Road. Trying to see how that relates to this balloon test that I've got. It looks like,
Can you pull that map back up, showing the driveway? Yeah.
yeah, it looks like 1 and 2 are in that vicinity, and there's a picture of 1 and 2. What's that?
Especially if it's going to be in that patch of woods back there.
Wait till you see the balloon. I think he's gonna put the balloon test up on the screen.
Let's see, where's the balloon test? Was that down here? I
It
didn't
was,
see
but
it.
it was an older version. Sir, he's gonna pull the balloon test photos up for you. I think there's several pictures in the vicinity of your house that might give you some idea of visibility.
Well, that
Right.
doesn't tell me anything, that's just, if that's an aerial view.
Have you got those the two pictures from the balloon test I gave you? I think those show it. There you go.
That's a balloon test, and what you can see here is the arrow pointing to the balloon that will rise to the height of the tower.
It'd be more that top one, Will, probably.
Yeah, I think that's,
So we see the top, we won't see the bottom of the house.
It won't show yours.
Oh, you won't see the bottom.
Mm-mm.
You'll see just a single pole sticking up, and it's not lighted.
Not later.
No, sir.
that answers your question? Okay, thank you, sir. I think that concludes everything. Any other questions from the board?
The address hers from the storefront.
What's that?
They need to go back saying it wasn't a storefront.
All right. All right, we'll close that public hearing on 2316. Thank you, sir. That's all the items on our agenda for this evening. Anything else we have for discussion?
Yes.
If you'll see it, Chair, if you'll see at your seat and on your, on P Cloud that was dropped to you this afternoon or today,
Oh, yeah.
the written decisions from previous decisions with regard to subdivisions at your prior meeting. We'll just need action on each one of those individually.
Which one you want to start with?
Cooper Branch is the one I see.
I've got Cooper Branch pulled up too.
I think they're all in one. If you'll scroll through it, I think it uploads separately.
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay.
All right, y'all
These
got
are-
Cooper Branch first?
There's 4 of them, correct?
The Word
Yes.
docs.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yes, I've got 4.
Yeah, Cooper Branch.
Find where I'm supposed to sign this. All right, we'll do Cooper Branch first. Need a motion to authorize me to execute the written decision.
Make a motion to approve.
Oh gosh, let me get my names here so I don't call anybody's name wrong like I did yours one time.
I don't mind
Motion to be approved by Ms. Holmes, and second by Ms. Davis. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. What y'all got next?
I'm looking-
Pendergrass.
Oh,
Did you say Hilliard Lane?
Pendergrass.
Let's do
let's do
Pendergrass
Pendergrass.
subdivision.
Oh, wait a minute, I gotta find it.
They sound a lot alike.
Got it.
Everybody's
got it.
in the same order.
No,
All right, Pendergrass subdivision.
okay.
Make a motion to approve as written.
second.
Motion by Mr. Hudson, second by Ms. Holmes. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Hilliard Lane.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Approved by Ms. Holmes, second by Mr. Hudson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Oakmont subdivision.
One last time, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, ma'am. Motion approved by Ms. Holmes.
So do I.
Second by Mr. Hudson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
That should conclude.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Thank you.